What's good, y'all? It's the Doomashettes React, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Number 10, the political landscape. The political landscape in the United States will become more polarized. The current political climate in the United States is already quite divided, and this trend will likely continue in the coming years. It's already incredibly toxic in Washington, D.C., and even at the state level. Probably really hard to believe it'll get much worse. But it will. As the two major political parties become more and more entrenched in their respective ideologies, it will become increasingly difficult to find any common ground. Getting anything done between these two parties right now has become about as difficult as giving a porcupine a back rub. This, of course, will lead to more gridlock in the government and make it more difficult to address important issues. In my opinion, I think we'll see a third party come into power, maybe not by 2028, but I would bet within the next decade. I don't think it'll be a new party out of nowhere. I honestly think the major parties, at least one of them, will split. Both parties now have these extremists, and they used to be like fringed characters in politics that nobody really paid attention to. Now, because of social media, they're in the forefront.
I believe that. Because, I mean, they so unhinged. Like, they really are. It's to the point, it feels like if it hasn't gotten any better now, will it ever get better?
Right.
It's been like this since Lincoln. Before Lincoln.
Yeah, and they had opportunity since then to make a change, and yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like still.
And they hide behind, like, they make that their whole personality. I don't like that.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Number 9, manufacturing will make a comeback. This one is already in play. Different companies have been pulling manufacturing out of China at a faster pace every single year. Different corporations in the United States are seeing cheap labor isn't all it's cracked up to be. When I was at Nike, they were pulling manufacturing for their newer shoes back to the US because of people, stealing design, copyright issues, and, all of a sudden everyone's got their tech. And believe it or not, there's a lot of tech that goes into shoe making. That's just one example. I've heard Adidas has done the same thing, along with different computer manufacturers. Now, there's a few other reasons this is happening. Obviously, China being the biggest in the world of manufacturing. I mean, they got cheap labor and plenty of people. But in recent years, China's been kind of taking a hit on the world stage, with all their problems they're having with Taiwan, that right now has the potential to turn into an armed conflict, and that'll force the US to put sanctions on China, and maybe even stop or limit what companies can do business-wise in China. And there's one other thing. During the pandemic, we realized some of the products we need were only made in China. Medical supplies were a big one. The masks that they really wanted everyone to have, we didn't have enough, and we had to get them from China. Well, everyone now was ordering from China, and we were kind of at their mercy because we didn't have the systems in place to start producing some of the medical supplies that were desperately needed. It took months for U.S. companies to start producing what was needed.
Yeah, anything that has something to do with technology is going to actually take a toll. I feel like technology is going to take its turn with that.
I feel like every country needs to have the necessities, at least, in their home countries. That creates more jobs for their own citizens.
Yeah, I mean, and another way to look at it, it's like not being dependent upon someone else and being able to just kind of have all those things for yourself. But to still say manufacturer type of work, like everybody know we're going in more of a technology type of stuff. We got phones in front of our faces without having to use our hands as much now. So that type of stuff is like inside manufacturing. Anything that has I think it's most of a push of a button that's going to allow people to just get these things going and flowing.
Yeah, but I feel like it'll just help our people here.
Yeah. I get what you're going with it though.
Number 8, the U.S. will become more diverse. The United States is already a very diverse country, and this diversity is only expected to increase in the coming years. As more immigrants come to the United States, the country's population will become more ethnically and racially diverse. This could lead to challenges such as language barriers, cultural clashes, but it could also lead to new opportunities and a more vibrant society.
I feel like
Number 7,
I feel like we already have culture clashes. within the same people groups.
Yeah, I don't think there's more of like a vision or futuristic stuff. I feel like we are living with that time today.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna get even more complicated.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah.
With his,
so who's gonna have the language barrier? Is it gonna be us for people that's coming in, or is it the people coming in trying to get jobs and trying to have conversations with us?
The people coming in having conversations with us.
I feel that.
Because even when we moved just a state over to Texas, we were like, we need to learn Spanish.
Quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Environment will continue to deteriorate. Climate change is already having significant impact on the environment, and this impact is only expected to get worse in the coming years. There's still a lot of people out there that don't believe this is happening at all. But statistically, and the math is there, it is happening. The only thing that's up for discussion is how much of an impact humans are having on the natural climate change. And I get that we've had climate change since before the dinosaurs. But this time around, we have giant cities on the coastline. And as the water rises, these cities will be affected in a big way. Is this going to happen next year or next 5 years? No. Will Miami be underwater by 2028? Absolutely not. If that does happen, in worst case scenario, it'll be like 80 years from now. Whenever you bring that up, someone's got to bring up the fact that Obama bought a coastal piece of property. Like, that's their defense. If the water's rising, why'd Obama buy beachfront property? Because it'll be 80 to 100 years before his property is underwater at a worst case scenario. He won't be here then. None of us will be.
Well, I mean, I hope I am.
Hey.
Number 6, technology will continue to advance rapidly. Technology is advancing at an unprecedented pace, and this trend is not expected to change anytime soon. New technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, gene editing are already having major impact on our lives, and this impact is only expected to grow in the coming years. Think of the major
that's low-key creepy right there. I don't know if they was doing this before, but like I remember like whenever we used to watch TV and people had the black screen and they would kind of make their voice mad deep to hide their identity. Like now you have it where people can really copy your whole entire voice. Like I'm talking about to the T.
That's so scary.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's real creepy. You know what I'm saying?
And regular everyday people who post online like us. I ran across something where a creator said that AI took her picture and had her promoting a product or something.
Oh, crazy business right there.
And it looked like it's her speaking, but it's not her speaking.
So how AI did it though? Like, did she upload her face at all?
Well, it was a video she posted. And AI took it.
Okay.
Well, I can't.
Someone
took it.
yeah.
And made it seem with her voice. It sounds like her, but it's not her promoting that product.
Well, you gotta see this too though. There's a disclaimer in most of these apps. Mm-hmm. And most of these apps already says that we have right to use what you upload without compensation, without no regards to you or nothing. We can do what we want. Diapers, billboards, TVs, anything. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to read those apps.
Yeah. It's very scary though. It is. And that's why, our writers were having the strikes and all of that, and in their new contracts and things, there were things in their terms about AI and using their likeness and things. It just, that freaks me out, like, because there's no law right now about AI.
I hear you, yeah.
Technological advances we've made in most of our lifetime. People are getting picked up for murders that they committed 40 years ago because of DNA evidence. Family member decides to figure out what part of Europe they came from. One thing leads to another, and the police are at the door of your condo in Boca talking to you about a waitress you knew when you were 22. These technologies could have both positive and negative impacts, and it is important to be aware of both the potential benefits and the risks. Obviously, AI and automation are a big risk, but they're also incredibly useful. That sort of leads us into the next one.
It has a benefit. It has a benefit.
Y'all heard what he said, huh? Oh, y'all like, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. I don't know what them people gonna do with my jeans and
like
things.
real quick, too.
Number 5, the job market will continue to change. The nature of work is changing rapidly, and this trend is not expected to change anytime soon. The automation of many jobs is already underway, and this could lead to widespread job losses in the coming years. But at the same time, new jobs are being created in the technology sector and other industries, normally to work on automation and AI. This also has a great potential to lead to a more uneven distribution of wealth, as those with the skills to succeed in the new economy will do so, while others who are left behind could struggle. I'm kind of the exception to the rule because I'm very involved in tech, but I'm in my 50s. If this all went away tomorrow and I had to re-enter the workforce, and all they got are jobs working with robotics and AI, I'm screwed. But I honestly think the job market in the United States by 2028 will be extremely different than it is today. I honestly think car salesmen will be a thing of the past by then, if not soon after. Just one example. I mean, last car I got, I went in and told them exactly what I want. Actually, I got online, told them what I wanted. They had it there. I went in, signed some paper, problem solved.
Easy.
Number 4, a shift in global affairs. The United States has been a major player in global affairs for many years, and this role is likely to continue in the coming years, but differently. Most of our involvement in global affairs, at least what we see, has been in military intervention. In my life, there was the end of the Vietnam War. We invaded Grenada, invaded Panama, Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and I'm sure a whole bunch of smaller conflicts none of us know about. And that's where I see the change happening. We're no longer going to be putting boots on the ground, so to speak, in every little conflict around the globe. I'm sure we will continue to defend our allies and support them, but I think where the change is, we will closely work with other countries to address common challenges. Things like drought, food shortages, internet infrastructure, normal infrastructure. I also see us pulling away from the Middle East in a big way. I mean, I don't think our foreign oil dependency is going to end before 2028, but I think that's on the horizon, and I think we're going to be less involved in the Middle East because of that.
It's a big business, man.
Number 3, more of a consumer society. The United States is already a consumer society, right? But this trend will likely continue in the coming years. The rise of online shopping will doom us all. It's just too easy, and half of us lack the control not to buy way more than we need. I'm one of them. I own a pink Darth Vader Funko statue I bought at 2 a.m. and rushed the delivery for some frickin' reason. I'm not an outlier. Half the United States is just like that. I mean, I don't know if everyone's into pink Darth Vaders, but other things they're shopping for. Number 2, we'll become more of a service economy. The United States traditionally has been a manufacturing economy. Sure, China got a lot of our manufacturing, but we still had a ton. Like I said earlier, some manufacturing's coming back, but it's never going to be at the levels that we had it back in the 1950s and 40s. And the manufacturing jobs that do come back, a lot of them will be automated. And this will put more and more people into service and creative industries, mostly service. Mechanics, electricians, plumbers, healthcare, automation, repair guys. Machines will replace a lot of us, but someone's got to keep those machines going. We haven't got to the point yet where they're fixing themselves. Past the computer, defragging the hard drive and getting rid of viruses. I'm sure someone's going to have some other examples and try and prove me wrong, but on a grand scale, machines aren't fixing themselves yet. In my opinion, I think the future for most of our kids or our grandkids will be in industries like plumbing, electrical, healthcare. Those industries will need bodies, and in most cases, they're really not a bad living at all. One thing a lot of people believe will go away is truck driving. I don't think that's really a thing. I don't think delivery service is going to be automated anytime soon, especially when it comes to truck driving. That's a couple generations away. And that's because companies don't want to get too involved in something like that where if it, like, I don't know, a truck kills someone, you'll have serious backlash from the government and the people. And no one's going to invest billions in robot diesel trucks that could be grounded every time there's an accident. You know, people will get upset about it, the government get upset about it, but then they'll sort of ignore that accidents happen all the time. And I'm sure if you looked at the NTSB's data, semi-trucks are killing a couple people every single day, at a minimum. Thousands and thousands of people get killed every year on our roads, but human error is a little easier to accept than a robot killing an Oompa band on the way to an Oktoberfest in Wisconsin. All right, before we get to number 1, we have a new YouTube channel. It is called The Sweet Life for Briggs. The video that's up there right now explains what's going on with it, but it's all about traveling on cruise ships and in hotels and staying in the nicest rooms. And I'm paying for all those rooms, so I'd appreciate if you went over and subscribed. All right, on to number 1.
What's number 1?
And number 1, less college, more trade school. I think college is great. Let's get that out of the way. I think it's a great path to be on into your adulthood. I think everyone should go, but not everyone can. Now, theoretically, yes, they can. I know someone's going to say that anyone can go to college. Yeah, theoretically, everyone can. But here in the real world, people can't afford it. Some people don't have the drive to attend a 4-year college. And many Americans didn't have the home life that would have given them the life skills to get on that path. On top of all that, you have just the extreme costs, student loans, worthless degrees, and of course the political fighting about what's being taught in the college and university systems.
That part.
I think people will be opting for trade schools more and more in the coming years. Like I've said before, nothing wrong with being an electrician, a plumber, carpenter, mechanic, whatever. I'll just give you one example. If you're a journeyman electrician, here in the Oregon area, your salary can be somewhere between $55,000 and $110,000, according to Glassdoor. In states like Mississippi, that's $45,000 to about $85,000. In Mississippi, that is not bad money. If you start your own electrician business, you could make even more. I can't tell you how many people I worked with at Netflix that had 4-year degrees, and they were working at Netflix. I can't think of one I ever worked with that went to a trade school, was working at Netflix, or any call center. Don't get me wrong, if you do college, that's great. I just think too many people go to college, they just do it because that's what they were told. That's what you do. You go to college. Then they get out and they do nothing with the degree, and they're in debt. I think for many years we were force-fed just the rose-colored glasses version of what goes on in college and what happens afterwards. I think all those are going to lead more people to trade schools, and I honestly believe universities will see a drop in attendance. Now, this one I think has the biggest potential for me to be 100% wrong, but I also think it has the potential to be one of the most impactful. That's why it's number 1.
I feel that. I feel that.
All right,
we're going to stop right there. Make sure I check his channel out. I feel like the more informed people are when it comes to blind information, the more they are prepared to go out and do something that's going to require them to, prepare for the future. For instance, schooling, right? If you got these new jobs that's popping out, but they're not being aware or told that these new jobs are, coming, how do they know to go to school for this stuff? Right. You know what I'm saying? So we just floating through just to say, hey, I did it, other than saying this is something I feel is more that's going to be beneficial for the future and more helpful. And another thing I want to mention is, man, create more jobs. That's always going to be a problem to solve. And once you figure out how you can solve it, start creating jobs to help other people get on board to, take more problems.
Exactly. Now, I'm always going to root for college. Okay, college degrees. You never know what will happen in your life, and you always need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
All right. But because college is so expensive, and we're seeing a switch now in Gen Z. We are still a part of the generation who were, told you're going to college, you got to go to college. We met in a college, what was it called? College preparatory program. Mm-hmm. That's how we met, right? So we had that drilled into us. And so with both of us together having college, I went to university. You went to community college and trade school. We know what both of those paths, all 3 of those paths is like, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you go to a trade school, it's so concentrated. You don't have all the extra things that, just for you to know.
Yeah.
You just have what you're going there for. You know the jobs that's available, how much those jobs are going to be paying. And I find that those people who take that route, in 30 years, they're still a part of that industry.
Yeah.
But with college, you don't see that as so much, the percentage so much. Mm-hmm. Yes, like law, medicine, but even medicine, I know a popular YouTuber right now who's from my hometown. She went to school to be. She was in the
medicine field. She was. I don't know which.
A nurse practitioner. That's what it was. I was trying to think of what NP was. Nurse practitioner. She went to school to be a nurse practitioner. COVID happened. They was laying people off. Now she's in the finance industry. Posting YouTube videos.
Killing it.
Making more on YouTube than she has ever made in all of her years combined as a nurse practitioner.
Yeah, heavy work. Mm-hmm.
And in the economy that we're going through, and then she paid off her student loans with YouTube money.
No, a few. I seen a few YouTubers that did
that. About to be me.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have situations like that, like I could be even more successful doing this, then people start looking at college differently.
Yeah.
So when he talked about there's some degrees where people don't do anything with, because sometimes, you know, a person will go to school for a certain field and the state that they're in, that degree won't be worth much unless they move.
That is true. Yeah,
and what if they don't move? They end up working
probably
at a store.
Somewhere they don't want to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. And on top of that, I feel like when they do use their degree to the fullest, they are hella busy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get to really enjoy life like they pretty want to. That's from what I've seen and what I've been told. So yeah, that's how it be.
Yeah, I mean, I still value education no matter
100%.
what. I just think just is the times we living in. That's it.
Yeah.
I think a big factor of more people going to college is to get rid of the debt.
Right.
So that's all we got to say about it. All right. We
Thanks.
hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.